Hi everybody. Alton Brown here in the Brain Food Industries test kitchens, pretty much not even running a skeleton crew right now, just myself and two other people in the whole building, because hey, somebody's got to feed the kombucha, you know, and the sourdoughs and things like that. Anyway, I thought that, you know, since there's a lot of food around here and you might have some food around your house, you might want to do some cooking during these challenging times. And today, I thought that maybe we'd make some popcorn my way, because you're probably streaming a lot of movies and there's no place to get popcorn. So come on over, come here. So here at Brain Food, we have a lot of popcorn, popcorn fan. We have it left over from our live touring show where we used a lot of popcorn. Popcorn doesn't last forever, just so you know. It will eventually dry out, but typically you've got a few years. All you really need is that moisture to still be locked in the endosperm. We will be using the Good Eats method, which I printed out from one of the Good Eats books. But I've made a few changes because I'm going metric now and I'm changing up the fat. But the methodology is the same, and if you saw our popcorn show, you don't have to watch this because you already know how to do it. I do not use a popcorn popper. I do not like them. I use a bowl. It's a relatively heavy gauge. This is an 8-quart bowl. Ooh, made in Brazil, imported. Now, the original recipe was written for 3 ounces of popcorn kernels. I've rounded that up to 100 grams, and I have weighed that. So 100 grams is what I'm using. And hey, since we're all locked up and, you know, isolated and hunkering down, or what do they call it, sheltering in space, or I don't know, whatever it is, learn the metric system. Your life will be better when we come out the other side. So 100 grams. Things are very loud in here right now because it's very quiet. 100 grams goes into the bowl. Now, when it comes to fat, some people actually like to pop with butter. Don't do that because the milk solids are going to burn in the bottom of the bowl. It will be gross. My old recipe calls for peanut oil, which I think is relatively nice and clean. I live in Georgia. There's a lot of this stuff, and they hand it out at the border. But in this case, I'm going to use something that's actually more flavorful. This is ghee, which we made here in the kitchen for one of the Good Eats projects we were working on. And it is basically clarified butter that's allowed to cook a little bit more. We've got videos about that coming out with our new season of Good Eats Reloaded. You can use ghee if you know how to make it, or clarified butter, or just use the oil. I'm going to use it because I think it tastes good. And I am going to go with 38 grams. Okay, we originally called for 3 tablespoons of peanut oil, but I'm going to go with 38 grams. And again, you don't have to weigh it if you're using something liquid. I'm just doing this because I can, and I like weighing things. That's 18, there's 30. I know it looks like a lot, but trust me, it's not as much as it looks. 38, holy smokes, 38 grams. Okay, that's going in. I know that looks like a lot of fat, but I'd rather pop in the fat and not add any later, okay? So that's the ghee. You would use the same amount. If it was oil, it's roughly 3 tablespoons. Now, I also like to pop with the salt already in place. I don't like to salt the popcorn afterwards. It'll be much more evenly done if we do it beforehand. But I want to use popcorn salt. We don't have any popcorn salt. I would never buy popcorn salt. Popcorn salt is a very fine salt, okay? You want it to be a very fine salt so that it'll stick onto the kernel. So we're just gonna make that. Come here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to run some kosher salt through this coffee grinder here. We only need really half a teaspoon, but I want a little extra. And we're just going to grind that up for a few seconds. Have you washed your hands? I washed my hands right before we started. That's why I'm not wearing a watch, because, well, I'll have to find that later. Okay, there we go. Nice fine salt. It's a very, very fine powder now. I'm going to add about half a teaspoon. If you only have 1 measuring spoon, make it a teaspoon. All right, that's enough of that. Now, we need a lid, but you know, people don't typically have lids for 8-quart bowls, so I'm going to use heavy-duty foil. And I'm going to close it really tightly around the edges, and that's mostly to make it physically easy to manipulate. And then we're going to poke some holes. I'm just going to use a knife. Looks like it's left over from a cafeteria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, here we go. Over onto the cooktop. the cooktop. And I'm gonna go with kind of not the highest heat I've got, because it's gonna take a minute to get the butter to melt. Now, for shuffling this around, we're gonna have to do some jiggling once the popping starts. I just use side towels to hold the bowl. Some people use tongs. I think that's difficult. Okay, I can hear the butter's melting. Can you hear that? Yeah. I'm gonna give it a slosh. It actually takes quite a bit of heat to build up before the popcorn will start popping. Don't bother timing this, just stand here. I mean, you don't have anything else to do, right? I mean, you could at this point get out your phone and check social media and panic some more, but let's not. Let's just, you can yell at the kids, how many? I told you not to, I'm gonna come over there. Stuff like that, because we need to keep them on their toes. But otherwise, just enjoy. Just enjoy the poppage. There we got one. Steam coming out. The main reason that we want to let the steam vent is because if the steam stays in there, it's going to make the popcorn soggy. So we want some steam release, okay? Don't want it to burn. The whole idea of using a bowl, by the way, is that as it pops, the pop kernels will rise up the sides and the unpopped kernels will go down to the bottom. So it kind of makes sense from a physics standpoint. Let it go. You'll ultimately know it's done when about 8 seconds goes between pops. That's usually when I pull it. Right now, we're in pop land. Time for more delicious coffee. This is a YouTube video and not Food Network, so I can use brand names. Reynolds Wrap, heavy duty Reynolds Wrap foil. Do not use any other brand. As far as I'm concerned, Reynolds Wrap's got it. I will be able to reuse this like 10 times. Okay. All right, turning off the heat, and we'll give a look. All right, I think we've got decent poppage. Yeah, I got a few burnt pieces, but I'm not gonna panic or freak out, because I'm gonna put so much flavor on this stuff, and we can always force the kids to eat it anyway, so don't worry about it. Now, when it comes to flavorings, we've already got the salt on there, right? I'm only doing this because I'm gonna have 3 different flavors. So here's some burnt pieces here. We just cover those up. There we go. I've got a little hand sieve here for sprinkling on some flavors, and these are my favorites, okay? And we'll start with the stuff that's really common. This is just nutritional yeast seasoning, and you know, it's hippies and granola eaters and people that wear Birkenstocks like this stuff a whole heck of a lot. I do too, though. It is pretty delicious. It's dead yeast, basically, and so I'm going to sprinkle that here. It comes in a flake. Now you can see this if you haven't used this stuff before, and you can leave it that way in a flake form if you want, or you can kind of grind it up between your fingers. Just pinch and sprinkle it on. You can be like that internet guy. Never mind. So I'm going to give that a taste. This is very healthy, very good for you. Yep, delicious, earthy. I always think it tastes a little bit like old beer, because after all, it's yeast. We're gonna do my favorite one next. This is a Japanese product called FURIKAKE, which I used to call FURIKAKE when I was a kid. It is a rice seasoning. You get this a lot in sushi bars. And it contains the following: sesame seed, sugar, seaweed, salt, maltodextrin, disodium, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. In other words, probably MSG. It's mostly like nori that's been ground up with sesame seeds. And that is delicious on popcorn. And then here's one, you'll have to get this off the interwebs. This is cheese powder, okay? And you can get this off of the interwebs. I'm not gonna say what website, because I mean, let's face it, there's only one that you can buy anything from anymore. Apparently it is completely natural. It's just cheese turned magically into powder by demons or small aliens or something like that. So I put a little bit of that, and this is how you make your cheese popcorn. There should be enough fat on the popcorn already. You shouldn't have to add any more. So I'm gonna go take my popcorn. I think I'm gonna do the cheese one, and maybe this one. And I'm gonna go stream some old Good Eats episodes and laugh at myself back when I had hair. And oh yeah, the person that usually cleans up after me isn't here, so I just won't come back in here.